everyone. Welcome to the Milk Room Podcast. My name is Kimberly. I am your host, and today I'm sitting here with Deezo.
What's good, y'all?
What's
Yeah,
good? How are you today?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm really excited to have you here today.
I appreciate that.
I know that you make music.
Yes.
Yes? And when did that start?
I've been doing music my whole life. I'm like a third generation artist.
No way.
Yeah, my grandfather was like in a jazz band. My dad was like a somewhat big producer in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
What a privilege. So, growing up in a creative household like that, did it feel natural or did it feel like something you had to follow?
I mean, for me, so my parents were like 12 and 13 when they had me.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't meet my dad till like my mid 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So it was mainly more of like, when I thought of my dad, I'm like, oh, he doing music, so I should do music. And I had like relatives, oh, you should do music like your dad. But I was kind of anti at first.
Yeah.
Like basketball was my first love.
Aw.
But like I organically would always do music.
Yeah, I feel like when you have that creativeness within you, you kind of deny it for a little bit.
Facts.
You're like, right? You're like, it's harder as it is already.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like it was like in the 1500s where people could be artists and like survive and be fine, right?
Facts.
Literally. But that's very amazing. I think it's beautiful that you were able to grow up in like a house full of music. So, do you remember the first song you ever made?
My first song I ever recorded, like my own song or just period?
Maybe period and then your
Okay.
own song.
So like as a kid, so like I grew up in South Central. So of course we had like a lot of E40, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre in my household. But I used to be a kid when I was like, I want to say 6, 7. I used to listen to Radio Disney a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like listening to Hanson and like maybe Tony Hawk, Pro Skater type vibes. So I used to do a lot of those covers in my head. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So those like the first songs I kind of was like coherent to sing. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And how did that translate to maybe your first song ever?
I feel like when I started to do music professionally or wanted to take it serious as a career, that was like my my spirit. You know what I mean? Just very alternative music. You feel me? So that was it just came natural. You know what I mean?
And is that a song that is kind of just like in your archive, or are we able to find it on any platform?
No. I never recorded it, but like my yeah, that was just something like I would do around the house. Like when I would ever maybe be in the shower or stuff like that, I was sing like Blink 182, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just I guess I was practicing, but unconsciously didn't know I was practicing. But yeah.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. So, when did your formal music career start?
So I would say my freshman year in college, I did one song. It was called Diamond Two Step or some weird shit. But that song got me like a meeting with Def Jam.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so me and my homies, we drove to Atlanta in like 30 hours.
Wow.
And this one they had like L.A. Reid was there, and they liked all the songs. They said I didn't have a hit, but from that it let me know spiritually, like, all right, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right,
You know what I
that
mean?
you're on the right track.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's very validating, especially I think when you have people that know about music,
Right.
be like, hey, this is pretty good. Like,
Right, for
you
sure,
know,
for sure.
That's so cool. And so I see that your first album was released in what, 2017?
Yeah, Feel No Flame. I think I gotta put it back up. I distributed it through fucking Will I Am had a thing called Amuse, and they took my shit down, but I gotta put it back up. But yeah, I kind of like, it's crazy. I mean, I had songs before that. That was like my first project. And I had like an anxiety attack. I was dating somebody, and I got in the tub and I was butt ass naked, and I just told her to come take the photo. I was kind of like, and then in my head afterwards, I'm like, oh, I'm about to just redo the Tupac,
Oh.
you know, artwork when he was in the tub or whatever.
Right.
And it just kind of like freed me to be like, you know what, this is what we doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, music is so vulnerable. You
1000%.
know, it's so vulnerable. And like, because I think being able to put down pen on paper, it's actually like one of the best ways you can process things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, go ahead. Like, be in the bathtub. That's nothing
Yeah.
compared to putting your music out there.
No, 1000%.
Oh my God, that's so interesting.
I mean, I think I got to a point to where I just stopped writing. Like I just kind of just started venting. Because I feel like I think too fast sometimes to write my what I'm feeling at the moment. So yeah, but yeah.
That's interesting. So typically your process is either spitting it out or writing it down.
I would write down maybe keywords.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, like for my newest project that I'm dropping February 25th.
Ooh.
I wrote down topics. Like I wanted to make a project that was like a psychedelic punk rock album.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? That felt like a DMT or like shroom trip. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I would write down like DMT, you know, just little stuff I would feel when
Right.
I had trips, and I kind of went about curating a project like that.
Interesting, because I noticed that from your artwork, because I am also like a big fan, especially of the counterculture of the 60s and all that psychedelic, like, you know, Jimi Hendrix and also like Jefferson Airplane. It just like the album covers, like they were just so different, you know.
Facts.
Right?
That's like the whole. Like I've been to the Grammy Museum probably 13 times because it's like it's so many cheat codes in there as an artist, and I pride myself on being like a delusional optimistic. So I'm just very like childlike when it comes in taking information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always go there just to kind of like soak up game.
Right.
I get to go study Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
You feel me?
No, I'm literally the exact same way. Like how I told you, like we were speaking about creative directing before,
Yeah.
and how I told you that I take a lot of inspiration from either movies or eras, like whether it's just like the little tangible things, it's the vibe, you know what
Oh,
I
God,
mean?
yeah.
So I understand what you mean when you're like, okay, sometimes you just need those key words to kind of know exactly what you mean.
Yes. And then like, I mean, as far as movies, Quentin Tarantino was like my goat.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I watched this thing called Everything's a Remix,
Mm-hmm.
and it really broke things down to me of like, nothing's new under the sun, but you can pull from, it's so many eras, so many like portals you can go and just live in real quick and then come back and create from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like creating new things is very hard. I think you always need to look into the past a little bit and look at the inspiration. It's like history. People think history is like a topic that is not important, but it is, because history
Very.
repeats itself, you know?
1000%.
And you can grab so much from it. And I think it's just fantastic. As a musical artist, do you feel like you have a specific aesthetic, a specific style, like when it comes to that whole album vibe, or do you feel like you're more like a concept artist, like every album is different and it reflects whatever time you are in your life, and like, you know, that you don't want to put yourself into this one box, that you're open to just creating?
I feel like I've created my world to where like every album is like a building in my world. So like Feel No Flame is my brand. Is basically like becoming best friends with your biggest fear,
Oh.
or like just addressing it and be like, all right, I'm cool with it. I'm not afraid of it anymore. So like I approach every project kind of like a book or a movie, and just kind of like, this is where I'm at right now, and this is where I'm trying to go through music, you know?
So how does like your new album that's coming out on February 25th,
25,
25, right? differentiate from the first album that you ever put out?
I feel like I'm way more confident in challenging myself or just trying different sonics. Like I've always had like punk rock energy in my vocals and my music, but I feel like I've got to a point to where it's like, look, I'm not a hip hop artist, 1,000%. Like it's a part of me because that's my culture,
Yeah.
but like, I just feel like that's just who I am. So I wanted to like really stand on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, when you're part of like the punk culture, like, you know that there are like, it's a place with no barriers. You're there
Facts.
to break the barriers.
I can literally drop 20-second songs and nobody can tell me nothing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And in those 20 seconds, you can say so much,
1,000%.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. So what are some of your favorite punk artists that like inspire you, and maybe like we can feel some elements of it in your music?
I would say my favorite punk artist. I listen to a lot of European punk rock
Ooh.
from like the 80s. Like I got a homie named Pink Stiletto. She lives in the Bay, but she's like a very retro artist. And like I wouldn't necessarily say artist. My favorite artist of all time, I would say, he's Yellowman. He's a albino reggae artist from like the 80s. He inspired me the most because he allowed me to really like, because he was freestyling a lot of his music. You know what I mean? But I like eras. I like the retro punk era. You feel me?
Yeah.
I just feel like just the way they write is very like fitting for me because like you said, we could say a lot with saying a little. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say an artist per se because I don't really. Their story would be different than mine just because we're raised different. But just the energy inspires me.
Right. That's beautiful, because I think like with music, you don't really care about where they come from. You
Right.
really just care about like what they're saying and how like the
Exactly.
music feels for you. That's very interesting, and I can feel the 80s in your style and also like your art and like the color coordination and like also your brand. I looked at the website. It's so cool.
Appreciate you.
Really, I love it. And like, so do you design as well
Yeah,
or
1,000%. So like all my clothes, even I got a collab with Virgin Citrus, the Feel No
Ooh.
Fame, pomegranate limeade. You know, I just like to be a part of everything that represents me because it represents me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So even how the flavors are, I wanted it to feel like I'm big on like I eat fruit a lot and like I put a lot of tahini on my shit.
Yeah.
But I also
Tahini is
like
bomb.
to drink the juice after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wanted something that gave me that feeling. You know what I mean? And like this limeade tastes like that. You know what I mean? Like so that's just I just like to because I can't sell or feel authentic if it's not something that's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something that's true to yourself. And I think like people expect a lot of musical artists to sell out. I think like when you're in the industry, like I think it's easy to have to give up parts of yourself in order to make it. Have you struggled with that?
1,000%. I worked at TDE for a couple of years. I've worked at Atlantic, and it was never like I was trying to get those jobs. It was basically I got hired because I'm a visionary, and they believed in my vision to help artists.
Yeah.
But my goal was always to inspire artists from my personal art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I'm doing anything for money per se, I can't fake it. You feel
Yeah.
me? I have to like believe in the art that I'm helping with for me to give my all to it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I feel like me trying to navigate the industry, they can tell I can't fake it. I wear my emotions on my face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it just never worked out for me. But I definitely I'm at a place to where I used to and I still want to be one of the biggest artists ever, but now I want to be one of the biggest execs ever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like find artists that I see myself in,
Yeah.
and like, and just change the world like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's beautiful because I actually talk about it with like my own personal friends all the time because we always like look back like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s where like you can never really replicate the artists that came at that
Facts.
time. You really can't.
Because it was like back then, it was like meals, right? It's like, but now everything is super fast food because technology, whatever the case, we make
Yeah.
it work. But it was like healthy food back then. That's why the music felt different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You couldn't fake that.
No, you couldn't fake that, and you had to put in so much work, like to just be noticed.
1,000%.
1,000%. Yeah, no, and that's, I think your integrity translates in your music. I think like like some people can sell out, but I also believe that when you have a pure soul and you really love your art and you have that integrity, that like that's something that people feel. People will always gravitate over what's real. You know what I
1,000%.
mean?
Yeah.
And what's not real. And I also it's important to have the like not the little people because they're not little people. We need producers. We need executives. We need every one of those to make music great and to find
sure.
great artists. But I wanted to ask, your new album is coming up. I'm so excited about that. Is there a particular song you're the most exciting about?
I would say the single I have out now, "Hey You Come Here." I wrote that song like so. I want to say December. My car got broken into. I live in downtown, right?
Oh,
But I like
hell
caught
no.
them mid robbery. You know
Oh.
what I'm saying?
What?
So like I like chased them, touched them up a little bit, not too much, because I felt like at the time I was so mad that I would have took out everything else I was going through on him.
Yeah.
And I realized he was just high as hell, probably off meth. You feel me? Whatever. And like he said, he was like, it got to a point where I'm looking at him. He's like, bro, do whatever you want to do to me. And I'm just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So I literally left and went back to bed. Didn't even call the police.
Yeah.
Didn't file a report, none of that. And the next day, I just recorded a song and I just talked about it. And I feel like the energy behind my vocals and just the whole energy of the song is just amazing. You feel me?
Wow.
So,
I can imagine that was a really complex moment because
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, you're angry that your car is getting broken into. Like, what the hell? Like, it's my car.
Right.
Like, I need that. Right?
1,000%.
Right? And it happens so often. Like, but it's also like looking at him and seeing what he is trying to do just to make whatever
Survive.
To survive, yeah. And just to see it and be like, it's not really worth it.
It's not. Like, but in the moment, oh my God, I wanted to like chop his head off.
Understandably so. I would have done the same thing.
But like,
you're better than me, actually.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like, literally, I looked at him and I'm like, at first, I'm cussing him the fuck out. I'm saying the most scarring shit to him.
Yeah.
And then he was like, bro, do whatever you want to do to me, bro. And I'm just like, all right, you got it. You can keep them shoes. It's good. You feel me? So it was, and I was like, the only way I can get this off, I got to do music. You feel me? That's just how music, I'm not like religious. I'm spiritual, 1,000%.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had to feed my spirit by recording about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it. Wow. I'm really excited to hear that because I think that's a story that many Angelinos can relate to.
Yeah.
Sadly, every time I go to downtown LA, I fear for my car.
It's GTA.
Literally. Like IRL GTA, like what? But I also wanted to know what's maybe your favorite song that's going to be in your new album.
My favorite song is Imperfect for Me. It's like the intro song to the project. And it's basically, like I said, the song is like, the project is like a psychedelic trip. Mm-hmm. So I wrote it in the sense of like, this is the beginning of the trip. Yeah. You know, the project is me talking to God majority of the time. And God is a female to me. So it's like, she's guiding me like, through it. You feel me? And I'm just telling her I love her, even though she's imperfect for me. You know what I mean? So.
That's beautiful. I think spirituality is so important, like to
sure.
every human being. And I think when you're an artist, like it taps you into different ways. Because for me, for instance, I'm not religious either, but I'm spiritual
for
as
sure.
Well. Like I know there's something out there that's guiding me and that's telling me, you can't sit at an office. Like that's not for you.
And
like,
you better listen.
And I better listen. Exactly. So like. There's many people out there that feel the exact same way and have no idea of which way to go.
For sure.
And that's very excited. So I want to ask about your song "Victim."
Okay.
I read about it.
You like with it or what?
Yeah, I know. How was the writing process for that?
So around that time, my mom had passed, and my mom was like my best friend. Like we had a very unique situation. To me, because my mom was 12 when she had me, so she was like my big sister for real, best friend, and it was just kind of like I can't play the victim. Like this is part of life. This was always my biggest fear. Like even as a kid, I'm like I don't know what I'd do if my mom passed. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
But like I feel like I learned how fearless I was, because I was able to like compartmentalize my feelings for my siblings. To be there for them, because like, it gets deep. Because like the year before that, my siblings' father died, so that's 2 years in a row where they lost both their parents, and I just felt like I'm all they have left. You know what I mean? So it was just like, you can't play victim. You feel me? And I just wanted it to feel very like, arena, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but that was just what came out of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I understand because. I think it's easy to kind of blame our parents and like be upset at the world for everything that's happened and is happening and continues to happen in our lives. But at some point, it is about what you do with it, like about what you do with the cards that you've been dealt with. Because we don't get to choose that.
We don't get the cards. We don't get to choose the cards because if we did, what the fuck, we all be billionaires.
Exactly. Right. Like that's exactly, and I think that's beautiful. It seems like you really value music, but you don't only just value music, you value what it tells,
Yeah, for sure.
you know, and what it can do for other people. So
I mean, literally, music has kept me alive. If I didn't have music, I'd probably be, what the fuck? Fucked off.
no, literally, that's what I think too. I think like schools need to do a better job about like supporting those kids that lean towards the arts, because I'm sorry, not everybody's good at math, not everybody's a STEM
Definitely not.
major,
Definitely
right? Not everybody wants to like, no, not everybody wants to do that, like, and in order to keep society going, we need artists,
For sure. For
you know.
sure.
And so with music, what gap do you feel there is currently?
I feel like it's a lot of followers and not enough people trying to be leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a lot of individuality, you know?
Right.
And that's cool because it leaves room for people like me and like the people that comes after me, or even the people that came before me that will be able to have the light shine on them. But yeah, I just feel like we need more individuals. Like that was the thing about the 80s. Like we were talking about like music videos, right? When music videos, I want to say VH1, like those early videos, it was so many individuals.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I grew up with VH1 too. I loved
Yes, for sure.
it. It was so good. And I actually think music videos need to make a comeback.
1000%. Like we need a video countdown show that matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. No, and I see that you actually released a lot of music videos
Yeah,
last
for sure,
year.
for sure.
Which one was your favorite, or which one was like the funnest to do?
I would say Reap What He Sow. Because it was just raw. Me and my homie Mitchell Dolphin just went around North Hollywood, just kind of, you know, fucking around. You know what I mean? And it's very like ADD to me. Like I like shit that's just very fast flowing, fast moving.
Yeah.
So that was probably my favorite. But my newest video I'm about to put out,
Ooh.
it's probably like my favorite. You
Wow,
know?
really?
Yeah, because it feels like, you ever seen Pineapple Express?
Yes.
All right, so it's kind of like those vibes. It feels like a mid-2000s movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, those like comedy movies.
Yes.
I know comedy needs to make a comeback too.
for sure, for sure.
They do.
Yeah.
It really does. Like I think like there's so much happening in the world right now, and we really do need like creatives and musical artists to like provide us that escapism, because that's what
Yeah.
people had back then, like, you know, because like there wasn't streaming services and like social media, like people could escape to those things,
For sure,
you
for sure.
know, and therefore those things were more appreciated. Yeah. And when does your new music video come out?
It should come out, I want to say the 20th of February.
20th of February? Ooh.
Yeah.
And you'll be announcing it where?
I'll probably be dropping it on IG, everywhere it can be viewed. You know what I mean?
And what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is @Deezo. So
At
yeah.
Deezo. Spell it out for me. Spell it out.
DEEZO.
DEEZO. And
Yeah.
where can we find your music?
My music on all platforms: Spotify, Apple, Tidal, Google Play, Deezer.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Awesome. Well, Deezo, thank you so much for coming. You are
Thanks for having
a fascinating person. Keep doing what you're doing, because honestly, like, you just inspire me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm not
Yeah.
even kidding. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And
Yes.
have an amazing day.
Yes, sir.